I get my, oh Lord, my hair is, I'm picking my hair up.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Blissful Living Podcast. This is the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, Rochel Marie Lawson, and I have a wonderful show in store for you with my good friend, Vaneese Johnson, who is known as the Boldness Coach. She is also a speaker at the upcoming event in San Francisco called the Brave, Bold, and Unstoppable Women Summit. So you definitely want to stay tuned. And this is a perfect time for you to find a place to sit. I stop for a moment if you're driving, or just put it on, auto tunes or something like that, and just listen. And then you can re-listen again later when you can write and take notes. But find some place to sit, get your favorite beverage, get something to write with, tell the family to give you a few moments because the Boldness Coach is here in the house. Okay. And while you're doing that, I am going to thank our sponsors, Blissful Living for You at Blissful Living for You, the number four, the letter U.com. Have some wonderful programs available for you to help you transition into the new season that we're evolving into, and to keep you healthy, well, and balanced, and kind of help circumvent any of those little bugs that might try to invade your body. So you want to check out Blissful Living for You at Blissful Living, the number four, the letter U.com. Not only that, you also want to check out their events that they're having, which again includes the Brave, Bold, and Unstoppable Women's Summit happening in San Francisco, California at the Galleria Park Hotel. The next sponsor I want to thank is All Day Cable Incorporated at alldaykableInc.com, premier telecommunications installation company located in Silicon Valley, San Jose, California, and they specialize in installation of voice, data, fiber optic cabling, wireless access points, modems, routers, your complete network distribution. If you're a small, medium, or large corporation and you're looking to make the right connections the first time, then you want to check out All Day Cable Inc., a premier telecommunications installation company at alldaykableInc.com. Okay, so now I have the Boldness Coach with me here, and love her to pieces. It's been a minute since we've had a
Yes,
time to conversate,
yes,
and
yes.
as queens, um, you may not see your sister queen for a minute, but then
Hmm.
when you get together, it's like you just saw her an hour ago, right?
Right,
So
right.
it is my pleasure to bring to you all the Boldness Coach. And I'm going to tell Benny's girl, you the queen of being the Boldness Coach. Why don't you share a little bit? Because I could brag about you all day long, but sometimes
Mhm.
we need to share our accolades and our moments of greatness with those that might be watching or listening to us. So I'm giving you that opportunity as the queen to stand up on that throne, girl. Tell these people what they need to know about you.
Well, hi everyone. Again, my name is Vaneese Johnson, the Boldness Coach, and I help women to be bold, big, and bad and live a life of no permission needed. And I am hailing all the way from the beautiful San Francisco Bay Area. And I'm so excited to be here because I know we get to have a brief conversation about my topic, embracing your boldness at the San Francisco conference coming up on November the 4th, and I'm super excited. But this morning, we're going to sprinkle a little bit more on top of boldness and just give the people a little preview about what's coming up.
I love it. With regards to boldness
Hmm.
and um, sharing the wisdom of being able to claim
Hmm.
your boldness,
Hmm.
can you share just a little bit about how you discovered that sharing the gift of being bold was your gift to women around the world?
It's an interesting story how I stepped into the gift, that I was given about becoming the boldness coach. Holy Spirit gave that gift to me, gave me that moniker. And what happened was a divorce. a major life event. And I'm sure that the listeners can resonate with this. The major life event for anyone could be a divorce, could be a death, loss of a family member, could be, the demise or breakup of a relationship, loss of job, whether voluntarily or involuntarily. Maybe there is an illness that you became aware of. So any major life event can shift you, if you choose to accept the challenge. And so divorce shifted me. And, and the conversation that I had with a really great friend of mine over brunch, she was like, if someone invited you to a party, what dish would you bring? What would that dish be that you would want people to be talking about long after the party was over? What would you want to impart, on people that they would be like, oh my goodness, I'm so glad I had that dish. And I said, boldness. I really want women to be bold in their lives, and I want them to really become who they were and who they were born to be intentionally, right? And so in order for me to be the demonstration, Rochelle, of that, then what I had to do was to own my own boldness. And so that was, a life circumstance invited me into the next level of being. We have two choices. We can either succumb and be a victim, of life circumstances, because life is going to happen until it doesn't happen for us individually anymore.
Right.
Or what we can do is say, what is the opportunity out of what just happened, to me, right? And remember, life happens for you and not to you. So what just happened for me? And, I got a chance to really step and tap into that, because I'm like, I don't want to be out here talking, being the boldness coach, and then, even your dog got that, like, the dog is like, I want some, I want some.
Yes.
But it was like, I can't be out in the world telling women and empowering women to step into their boldness until I embrace and own boldness, my own level of boldness. And so that's how it just kind of comes out. So we all have that in us, Rochelle. We all have a level of boldness within us, but it's up to us to really accept the invitation to step into that.
Stop right there. Okay, so the invitation.
Yeah.
Your invitation came because you went through a challenging time, which was a
Hmm.
divorce, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
But how many women do you
Yeah.
come across, and what are their excuses about they know they've received the invitation to
Yeah.
step into their greatness,
Hmm.
but they have an excuse? Can you share a little bit about that? Because I want people, women, men watching this, to understand that there's things that we do that sometimes are right here,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
we'll be going like this, you know.
Yeah.
Um, you know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
keep it
Yeah.
real,
Yeah.
So, can you please share that enlightening aspect with the viewers and the listeners?
Yeah, as a coach and as a women empowerment coach, and I do work with a few good men, um, that this is something that I come up a lot upon, Rochelle, is that there's a lot of excuses. And I'm just calling it and keeping it 100 because I wouldn't be the boldness coach if I didn't. There are a lot of excuses about why they can't do this and can't do that. And I ask the women that I serve, so tell me, what would you like your life to look like 3, 5, 10 years from now? What do you, is this the life you live now? Is this the life that you want? Is this your future that you're in right now? And a lot of them would say no. And I said, okay, so the question that you get to ask yourself is, who do I need to be in order to become who I need to, who do I need to be in order to become that woman for the next level of my life? And what adjective, is it that you would choose? Do you need to be courageous? Do you need to be focused? Do you need to be intentional? Do you need to be compassionate? It's really finding out what persona do you need to put on that will give you the moxie, so to speak, to step into that. You perhaps need to be victimless,
Mhm.
versus being the victim of your life. And a lot of women, and I won't say a lot of them, but a good portion of women are victims, and people are victims of their life. They did this to me. If they hadn't have done that, this thing would have been better. Only if, they had to did this and that and the third, right? But
Mm-hmm.
owning your own life is a big step. And people say, well, I own my own life, honey. Can't nobody tell me I own my own life. Okay, great. And if you own your own life, then step into the invitation that life is giving you.
I love that, because again, so many of us come across these opportunities to step into being that bold person for
Mm-hmm.
ourselves, and we don't. We make excuses.
Yeah.
With regards to some of the excuses, it's really um, not wanting to go through the process of
Yeah.
really seeing a true self reflection of what it is that you need
Yeah.
to do, right?
Yeah.
And it's very interesting to me when I hear women be apologetic
Mm. Mm.
for, here's the other aspect, for
Yeah.
being bold.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that aspect? Because now we've covered the women that deny it, or the
Yeah.
people that deny it, but then we have those out there that are apologizing for being it, even though they're continuing to stay in that place.
Hmm.
They're
Hmm.
apologizing for it. Can you share a little
Yeah.
bit about that?
Sure. One of the reasons that we apologize to people, and this is my experience, and that's where I teach and I coach from, right? Um, is that it's when you don't know who you are and you don't know your own power and your own strength. And when your power and strength shows up, and it is showing up in a bold way. It's bright, it's out there, it's in front of people. It's almost like your slip starts showing. It's like your slip is showing, your boldness is showing, and you realize that you're like, oh my goodness, where did that come from? I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to offend anybody. It came before I knew it. It just came out of any place. And then you, even in your own head, you're like, what happened? It just came out of my mouth so easily, right? And I want to say this too, boldness isn't about being brash. It's really about owning the authentic you and living in it every day in every way. Some people have quiet bold. So, quiet bold could be you express yourself through writing, you express yourself through one on one. You're not the person necessarily on the stage, right?
Right.
There's collaborative boldness where there are people that love to collaborate with other people to support other people while they also get to be able to bring their authentic self. And then that is the out loud, brow, loud like me, bright, bold, that's like in front of people on the stage and leading the charge. So when people and women and men they apologize for that, it's because they don't know who they are and they have dimmed their strength and they have dimmed their uniqueness. Because here's the reality, Rochelle, who you are is it's with you everywhere you go.
Yes,
And
it
it
is.
is really it's kind of chomping at the bit to come out. It's ready to come out. It's bursting out the seams.
Yes.
That's why we see a lot of mature women, of a particular age, they say what's on their mind. They're like, baby, I'm tired. I'm so, I'm so tired of trying to navigate, manage,
Girl,
make people
girl.
comfortable, watch what I say, watch
Uh,
how I dress, watch what room I'm like. I just want to be me.
exactly.
Like I just want to be myself. And that is where you find your sweet spot is when you get to the point in life when you realize and recognize the energy that it takes for you to not be yourself.
You know, what's so funny about what you shared is ever since I was a little girl, I was bold. I didn't know what that was,
Right, right.
but I spoke my mind. I was
Mhm.
always getting in trouble for speaking my mind. They would ask me, and then I'd tell them, and then I'd get in trouble, right? Like,
Mhm, mhm,
I was always the person that would stand up and defend other, people that I felt were, kids that I felt
mhm.
were vulnerable.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
I, in college, I was outspoken.
mhm,
And then when I first got into the business arena, I was
mhm,
selected to be on these board of directors with these guys and be the only women because of my outspokenness.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
So a few years ago, I was talking to my mom, and she said something, and I said something, and she's like, "You still got that mouth." I said, "Mom, had I not had this mouth, I
Yes,
wouldn't have been
yes,
able to be in places that I've been or do the
yeah,
things that I've done and speak up
yeah,
for, other women and things of that nature." And she goes, "Yeah," she goes, "I always knew one day it would serve you well."
yeah. Yeah. You know,
She said, because you never apologize. You would get in trouble for it. You would never say you were sorry. And it
yeah,
was so funny as I thought about life. My friends would be like in high school, oh girl, don't ask her if you don't want to know. She's just gonna tell you like it is. And she, and
yeah,
she's not gonna care. And it's like, no, it's
yeah,
not that I don't care. It's just I'm not gonna sugarcoat it and I'm not gonna apologize for being that
yeah,
type of person in your life,
yeah,
business or personal. So
yeah.
I love that. So now let's transition into,
Mhm,
because we have, I want to say, like three classifications when
mhm,
it comes to, and I'm not boxing it into any specific categories, but we have
mhm,
the career professional,
mhm,
we
mhm,
have the woman entrepreneur, whether
mhm,
solopreneur or owning a big company,
mhm,
and then we have the I want to say the woman with the side hustle.
mhm,
She's got a
mhm,
job, but she's dip.
mhm,
She's the mix between the two.
mhm,
With regards to those three, I want to say classifications of
mhm,
women.
mhm.
Who do you find that struggles the most with, one, being bold,
Mhm,
two, accepting it, and three,
mhm.
projecting it out in a positive manner that benefits what they're trying to do?
Yeah. So this may surprise you and the listeners. They all do. It's different levels. It's different levels. For the woman who is in the corporate space, what I find is a lot of those women, they really want to up level their professional brand. They want to be seen and heard for the value that they bring to the organization.
Mhm.
The challenge is that some of them look for people to come to them and acknowledge their worth and their contribution versus intentionally and strategically positioning themselves with the branding strategy so that they actually can be seen by the right people with on the right projects. So that's in that space. The woman that's the everyday woman who is well, not the everyday, the woman who is the entrepreneur. This woman definitely has a level of outward boldness about herself. However, what happens is she may get to a particular level in her business and not see herself realize the fullness, of her entrepreneurial opportunity.
Right,
Because you and I both know in the world of entrepreneurship, there's levels to this thing.
right. For sure.
so
For
so
sure.
she may not necessarily realize that because the every level requires a different depth of who she is. It requires her to explore deeper to figure things out. And then the woman who's got the side hustle, I think the challenge with the side hustle is not necessarily positioning themselves to make that side hustle the main business.
Right.
So some of them like, I want this safety net, and I get it. I understand it. I was at one point in my life, I was a single parent. I was co-parenting child in private school, expenses, uniforms, and still trying to have a life and a career and bills, right? I get that.
Right.
However, what happened for me was I was doing a side hustle, gift basket making business while still working a regular job. And what I came to realize was that my creativity, the authentic me, was coming out and it was starting to affect the other areas. And
Mm,
what I was realizing was that I didn't feel comfortable because I needed a safety net. So I had to really put my hustle to the side and really work on creating a safety net for myself, pay my bills off, stack my money, look at how I was spending my money, get my credit straight. So each one of those women, in the professional space, the corporate space, the everyday woman, Rochelle, the everyday woman is the one who that I've seen looks at other people and say, see, I wish I could do that. You
right.
see, if I didn't have this situation over here, I could do that. Or baby, I'm too old to do that. I should have done that when I was in my 20s and 30s. You so lucky. And that perhaps, is the woman who isn't surrounded, and she doesn't have a continual network, access. And I will say all of those women do. That's what's so great about the summit is that you get a chance to be in the room with other women. So no matter what level you are in your life, in your career, in your personal growth, you're going to find somebody. So they all at different points, run up against brick walls that they have to really decide, again, who do I need to be and what level of boldness do I need to bring to just get over this wall or knock it down.
I like it. I like the knock it down
Yeah.
versus getting
Yeah.
over, because then you create a path for other women to come behind you,
Yeah.
and you kind of give them permission that it's okay to be
Yeah.
bold, right?
Yeah.
So I know you work with clients, and you help them to step in and own being bold unapologetically.
Mhm.
Is there a And of course, I don't want you to share the goods, but I
Yeah.
want you to give a little teaser, like a little dessert, little foreplay.
Yeah.
Um, I'm a mess. Y'all know
Yeah.
I'm a mess. But I got your attention. You're gonna pay
Mhm.
attention now.
Yeah.
Um, is there a formula that you share with your clients to help them with stepping into their boldness?
Yeah. So one part, of the formula that I'll share is helping women to be bold, and that's becoming out loud daily. And it's really being able to become who you are every day in every way. So, we tap in areas, and the one area that we tap in the most is around self-awareness. Because here's the reality, Rochelle, before we transition to anything in life, and this is in fact what, when we have a major life event happen to us, it brings us to a point of awareness. And in that awareness is where we find the truth. We
Mm,
find our truth. So
yeah.
I help women in the first step is really around self awareness, because your reality is the truest form of what's true for you. It's your reality. And so until we pay attention to that, start peeling the layers back, and there are some pivotal questions that I ask of my clients for us to really get to the heart of the matter,
Mhm.
right? Not what we're
Yeah.
thinking, but what we're feeling and what we're experiencing around us. Then we can start to say, okay, now where do we go from here? What does it look like to go forward? The last part that I'll say is asking yourself open ended questions. A lot of times we ask ourselves questions, but we ask closed in questions, and then we give it a closed in answer, like a
Yes.
definite answer. So I
Yes.
encourage my clients to come from a place of curiosity. What could my life look like if I were to step into my boldness? Who do I need to be to even find my boldness? you know and what would the next steps possibly look like if I were to move in that direction towards boldness? So when you're asking the what question, versus you saying, well, this is what it would look like for me to do this, and I'm going to have to do that and do this, what happens is it becomes kind of downtrodden. It feels overwhelming, and it doesn't offer you any space for exploration. And when you come from a place of curiosity, then you have the potential to really open up what's available to you.
Again, lovely words of wisdom and insightful direction for women. The just calling out loud. I really like that. I know that when you are working with women and men
Mhm.
through this process, through this formula, how do you deal? Because I know it comes up with the aspect of them having to confront the fear
Yeah.
of accepting and stepping in to their boldness.
Yeah. So one of the things that I do for my clients is create a safe space for them. I think it's really important, especially in the space of coaching, but also in the space of allowing a space for a person to be vulnerable. Because what happens with a lot of us is we don't have safe spaces to talk about when what we're afraid of, what our dreams and our hopes are, because there's feedback coming at us.
Right.
If you tell somebody that if you got this cushy corporate job and you're making this huge salary, and people, and you want to start this entrepreneur, venture, and maybe it's completely left field from what you've been doing in the corporate space, and the people around you might say, you crazy, you got that good cushy job, all those benefits and that salary, and you got this nice car, and you get to travel the world, and you want to give all that up for what? So we
But you
get a
may
lot.
not even be successful at. You probably gonna lose money. Blah 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 blah. Yeah,
So we
yeah.
get a lot of people projecting onto us, um, what their fears are, and we adopt their fears, and we just kind of diminish and just fall to the background. So what I do is I help to create a safe space for people so they can talk about and give them the space. If crying is what they feel like they need to do to let it out, they have space to cry. If they have space, if they just want to just vocalize and keep going and keep going and keep going until it's out, I give them space for that. There's no judgment, here. So when I give my clients the space that they know that they're not going to be judged, that they can be vulnerable, and our conversations, it's my secret. It's my
Right.
secret with them. And they know that I'm holding that secret for them, and they know they got a place to come and be themselves. I'm telling you, after the first session, people like, oh my goodness, I feel so much lighter. And they are so looking forward to the next time to be able to have that space. So it's important, everyone, when people say, well, why do you need a coach, or why do you need a therapist? You can just, I'm your best friend, or go do it in prayer, right? And I know some people might be dropping some stuff in the chat when I say that. But here's the reality is that we all need to know we matter in life, and we all need to have a safe place to go where somebody is not judging us. They're just
Bam.
allowing. They're giving us this. They're allowing us the space to allow ourselves to just be.
Oh, I love everything you said, particularly the last part. Having that safe space
Mhm.
sometimes, many times, is an emotional game changer
Yeah.
for people. Knowing that what is discussed, what is shared, what is purged
Hmm. Hmm.
stays in that moment and
Yes.
only
Yeah.
that moment, not carried forward, is a beautiful thing. And being able to have those deep, intense feelings of purging and releasing, and no
Hmm.
longer having to be what others see you to be, but to be what your true calling and your true self is, girl, that's orgasmic. Now I already said we did the foreplay. I mean, that is truly orgasmic. Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful thing, you all, when
Mhm.
you are working on yourself, your mind,
Yeah.
body, spirit, emotional
Yeah.
aspects,
Yeah.
because we all have so much baggage
Mm.
that we don't even know that we've had since we were little kids. We don't even half the times know where stuff came from, right? We just know
Right.
we have it.
Right.
And then when you
Right.
start going through processes to be that unapologetic woman or man, for being standing in your greatness, you
Hmm.
start realizing, I have, not only do I have this, but it's not even mine. For instance, my mom was afraid of mice.
Hmm.
So when we was growing up, if she saw we had a mouse, oh my goodness, we had us running around like we little fools, right? Okay. I'm 9,000 times bigger than the mouse. So I think I was in my early 20s or just right out of college.
Hmm.
We had a mouse. And I was like, okay, in my little apartment. And I'm like, why am I so afraid of this little mouse who's more afraid of me? He trying to get away or she trying to get away. And it took me back to my mom. It
Hmm.
was
Hmm.
something that I had picked up. I had never had an
Hmm.
encounter with a mouse. They didn't talk to me. They didn't bite me. They didn't, anything,
Hmm.
right? But I had picked up her baggage and was carrying it like it was
Yep.
mine, just put it in my suitcase. And when I
Yep.
realized that, I was able to release that. And then I just became like the commander chick, like, oh, let's go out in the forest. And, beavers, I got that. Squirrels, I got that.
Yeah.
Only thing I ain't got is a stump, but
Right.
it was so funny. And as silly as that story is, it's true. Um, and it's light and it's lighthearted, but it released so much unnecessary stress. And
Yeah.
so when you
Yeah.
get to a point where you're purging and having these sessions that you offer as a boldness coach, um, it becomes such a transformative experience that there ain't no, as they said, ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move.
Yeah. Yep.
Right?
We
Right.
need that. We really do. Um, because they're just become you come to different crossroads in your life that what you have got you to where you are, but it won't take you to the next level.
Exactly.
And it's important to recognize that as women. It's important to recognize that as we grow through those levels. The same as it's the same way having a child. Is that your child is a newborn, then it's an infant, then it's a toddler, then you got them, then they get to, pre-adolescence, right? And so
Mhm.
you move through these different phases, and that's
Right.
how we are as individual in our growth. Some of us are really newborns to stepping will become newborns into stepping into our boldness. And those of us that are already there, some of us are in the infancy, of becoming. And it's just kind of like, wow, I'm in a new place, I'm in a new way. And it's just, yeah, it's just amazing. It's really, really amazing.
I love it. I love having this conversation with you, because I think it's very powerful and impactful. And those that are watching and listening to us will agree. And so, with that, if you agree, share the show and subscribe to the show. But before I, honor Vaneese's time and then let her get back to living her bold, brave, bold, unstoppable life, can you share with the listeners how they could get more of you, how they could connect with you, and find all the necessary goodies that they need with regards
Yeah.
to working with you.
Absolutely. So I really would enjoy connecting with all of the listeners. And I see the chat is on fire. So thank you all for chatting. You can find me on IG at The Boldness Coach. You can find me on Facebook at The Boldness Coach. You can find me on LinkedIn under my name, Vaneese Johnson. And if you forget it all, just Google me. You can go to my website, theboldnesscoach.com. And when you sign up for the newsletter on the website, there's a 3-part downloadable packet for you. When you sign up for that. So I really encourage you to do that. I am the queen of workbooks. I love putting together ebooks and workbooks that make you think and that actually make you put in some work. So they are disruptive from the old way of thinking and being. So if you want to stay where you at, then don't follow and don't connect with me. But if you're ready to go to the next level and you're ready to step in your bold, big, and bad, you can see my sign up above my head. The bold is up at the top. Then I would say let's connect.
I love it. Thank you, Vaneese, for sharing. See that, y'all. Okay, I knew you didn't think it was gonna be like this, but um, it was, and it is. And you know what? The beautiful thing is you can continue to re-listen to this as often as you like, because she did drop some real nuggets of gold. I always say, like, my guests bring nuggets of gold that people pay thousands of dollars to get, and you're getting it here for free. And you learn how you can take it even further and deeper to enhance and transform your life for the better. So I'm just saying. So please, if you like the show, subscribe to the show so you get advanced notification of the guests, as well as share the show, because this information, ladies and gentlemen, this information is powerful that was shared today. And this is information that we need to have disseminated with women around the world, because there's some things that are happening. And
Mhm.
as women need to step up and be bold enough to be unstoppable in fulfilling our purpose. I want to thank our sponsors, Blissful Living for You at blissfullivingforyou.com. Again, Blissful Living, the number 4, the letter U.com. You can check them out. Go to their events page and you can find out what's happening in San Francisco on November 4th with this lady right here will be in the house, okay? As well as find out all the goodies that Blissful Living for You has to help you enhance your wellness, wisdom, and wealth. Thank the other sponsor, All Day Cable Incorporated at alldaycableinc.com, premier telecommunication, woman-owned, minority-owned telecom installation company located in the heart of Silicon Valley, San Jose. And you can check them out if you have a need for network distribution at allday.cableinc.com. I am the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, Rochel Marie Lawson. I want to thank you for your time, and it has been a pleasure to be here with you and my guest. And until next time, I'm wishing you peace to your mind, wellness to your body, being brave, bold, and unstoppable to your spirit. And until next time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise. And goodbye for now.